All right, fabulous humans of the world. How are you guys doing? For those that haven't met me, which is very possible because maybe you listen to this because someone is like tagging you from somewhere or sharing this link with someone. And if this is not your first episode and you haven't tagged someone from somewhere or share this with someone from somewhere, like what the hell are you doing with your life? Literally, you're not about to eat this meal by yourself. We're going to enjoy it together. And what do I mean by this meal? We are in the middle of the series that I am so glad that I'm doing, which is a series that is geared to help us as physicians, as women physicians, be prepared for the economic downturn, whether it's here, whether it's there, whatever. The bottom line is it is not going to meet us snoozing. It is not going to meet us hiding. It is going to meet us preparing well, joyful, and all this other stuff. And the way we do that is by having a plan. So that's what this whole series is. And this is not a meal that you eat by yourself. This is a meal you invite other people to. So if you haven't shared yet, I'm literally giving you the side eye right now. And maybe it's a podcast. Imagine my side eye. Stop what you're doing. Go share, leave a review, and do whatever you need to do to get the word out there. So now on to this episode today, which I am so super duper excited about because I have the pleasure of bringing one of my favorite people in the world. And I have lots of amazing humans that I'm surrounded by. So if I'm calling her one of my favorite, it's real. Anyways, if you haven't met her yet, where the hell have you been? But welcome, Dr. Luna.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And you call me one of your favorite people. That's why I keep coming back to your podcast.
I know. Well, you know what? You either believe it first or it happens, or you do it and then you believe it later. So either way, I'm glad you're here. And thank you for taking the time out to come share your brain and your wisdom with all of my humans.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here. And of course, how excited I am about the topic we're going to be talking about. So let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for those that haven't met you yet, maybe they live under a rock. Can you just spend a minute or so telling us who you are and why I do believe they should be listening to what you have to say about what we're talking about today?
So my name is Neka Unachukwu. Everybody calls me Dr. Una for short. I'm a pediatrician by training. And this at this point in my career is really focused towards helping doctors build profitable businesses so they can live life and practice medicine on their terms. So I do that through a company called EntreMD. So that's 99% of what I do at this point. And I do that through a podcast that goes by the same name, EntreMD Method book, and the EntreMD Method, the EntreMD Business School. But it's all about helping physicians. This is our time. We've been told we're not great entrepreneurs. It's a lie. We're not great at money. It's a lie. We don't know how to do deals. It's a lie. We've been told to stay in our lane. No, we won't. And so I'm just all about, empowering doctors to take back control.
I love it. So here's where we are right now. We're recording this in 2022, and there's been conversations about whether we're in a recession or not, and all this other stuff. And I think that as physicians, as women physicians, it's really important for us to be prepared, not so that we can be grinding and staying up at night or worrying. But what I found is that when we don't have a plan, a lot of times we actually worry, but we're just trying to like press it down. But we might as well just figure out a plan. And if you've been looking at data in 2022, a lot of physicians, huge percentage of physicians are employed. And part of the reason why physicians choose to be employed is because of this whole thought, and I'm putting that in quote because no job is really secure, but this thought that our jobs and our paychecks are secure. But we've all experienced a pandemic and we know that that's not true. Physicians lost their jobs and all that stuff. But what I want us to talk about today is as business owners, right? I'm also employed and I'm a business owner at the same time. And as business owners, we are the ones that are going to be at the forefront of changing the economy for ourselves and our people around us. And for people that are out there choosing to take that quote unquote risk of being brave and being badass and being bosses and choosing to accept their callings to be CEO, I want all those people to be prepped, right? So what are some things that we as entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs, whatever you want to call yourself, how can we make sure that we are here stating our claim and being the leaders that we want to be, regardless of what the economy is talking about?
Okay, so you got me all kind of happy. So I hope we have an hour to talk about this. Now, before we even start, I want to start off, my philosophy, every physician is an entrepreneur. period, end of story. And the reason why I say that is because we have a business. First business is Dr. You Incorporated, right? It's your physician brand. You paid maybe $250,000 to acquire it. There are many people who make money off it. You should be able to recognize it as your company and figure out how to monetize it. And there's so many ways beyond the scope of this podcast, but there's so many ways to do that. So I want to invite everybody, employed or not, even if you're like, I've never thought of it that way. I want to invite you to just think of yourself of, I am the CEO of Dr. Me Incorporated, and just start from there. So we're not entertaining the option of we're not entrepreneurs. So that's the first point. And then when it comes to what we really need to do, I think for me, the first thing is recognize that the first thing is a mindset, right? Which is, even though there's a recession, there's a downturn, and all of that, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be bad. We have seen people have the biggest breaks financially when they were in the middle of a downturn. Like, this is documented, this has been researched. And so even though when we hear recession, when we hear downtime, we should be hearing, yay, opportunity. Yay, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what my business is going to look like? Who knows what my business 2.0, 3.0 is going to look like? So you can literally look at it that way, even if you don't have the full plan yet. And so when the pandemic hit in 2020, that was my approach, right? I looked at it. I saw private practices shutting down. I saw people going out of business. I saw all these things happening. I saw the data, and I made a decision. I was like, I'm going to thrive. Now I'll figure out the how, but this is my decision. In the midst of all of this, I'm going to thrive. And so that's the first place. You may say everybody is saying this, but we're physicians. We're not everybody. I mean, come on. There's 1 million physicians. There are 352 million people. We've always been going our own way. We've always gone against the grain. So why stop now, right? So if everybody's saying, oh, we're all, going to blazes, you don't have to say that. You can say, we're going to thrive. We're going to make it work. We're going to learn something new. We're going to, whatever, right? And so it's just thinking recession means opportunity. Recession means opportunity. Recession means opportunity. That's the starting point of all of this. Otherwise, nothing works, right? Now, when we go to the specifics as entrepreneurs, which we all are, right? We agreed on this. There are a few things, and it's all around the concept of playing full offense. Because what the thought of a recession does is it makes people retreat. So you market a little less, you sell a little less, you show up a little less, show up apologetic, and we play full offense. And the beauty of it is most people are going to pull back. And so if in that you play full offense, you're already standing out. You're already getting ahead of the competition. You're already dominating the market. Like, the stakes are lower, right? So it's all about playing full offense. And so what does that mean? If you're an entrepreneur in marketing, putting yourself out there, putting your brand out there, this is not the time to hold back. This is the time to do it more. This is the time to speak more. This is the time to do more videos if that's what you do for your business. This is the time to not stop sending the email. Like, this is the time you go out. This is the time you're doing joint venture, IG lives, Facebook lives, and all of that. You're playing full offense. When it comes to sales, don't go in people's pockets and say, oh, they can't afford this, they can't pay for this because there's a recession. Like, leave their pockets alone. Go out there, make the offers. Tell people, come to my private practice. Tell people, come, I'm the coach you've been looking for. Tell people, this is my product, get it. But don't go into their pockets and then decide, I'm not going to show up and make offers. Because guess what? Recession or not, people are spending dollars. And I don't know of a single physician who has 50% market share of anything, right? And so if all you have is 1%, there's so many people to reach, right? Like, so don't hold back on telling people, come and use my services, come and buy my stuff. Don't feed into the narrative of, oh, they don't have money, like, don't, just leave that alone, right? Like, just leave it alone. Okay. Then, having said that, there's also adapted offers, right? So if you think about during the pandemic, which kind of prepared us for now, if you want to look at it that way, like, we had a test run of this. If you think about private practice, well, there was a time where telemedicine was the way to go. And if you were not willing to do that adapted offer and maximize it, your business had some serious financial troubles, right? It could be where people are like, yeah, there's a recession. I don't have money for my copay. And you hear that 2 or 3 times. Then you tell them, come in for your annual physical. They don't need a copay. Just adapt, like quick, just adapt and keep it moving. You're a coach and people don't want to do your group program and all of that stuff. Well, the perceived risk of one-on-one coaching and all of that is less. So pull that offer back if you don't do it anymore and offer it, right? So it's adapted, right, based on what the market is doing. But guess what? If you're playing full offense with marketing and full offense with selling, you're with people. So you're aware of what they need so you can adapt, right? And so your adapted offers, you want to think in those terms. When it comes to your team has to be profitable. We can't have, and when I say dead weight, I don't mean the people, right? I mean the role, yeah, right? Like you can't have dead weight. So I'll tell you this, you might get a kick out of it. When the pandemic hit, and it's like it was like ghost town. Everyone's like, in hiding, like we're not coming out for appointments anymore for my private practice. Then I called a staff meeting and I told them, you can see what's going on with the pandemic and all of that stuff. So as of right now, I don't need any of you in this practice anymore. And everybody looked, and I let it sit. Everybody looked at me like, has she lost her mind? And the thing is, my staff has always heard me say, we're going to keep this place profitable. I never want to come here and tell you we couldn't make payroll, right? So they know what I'm about. So they looked at me like, did you just say that? And then after I sat for a bit, I was like, what you did, I don't need that anymore. So that job description, I don't need that anymore. I'm looking for a new team of people whose job description will be whatever it takes. And if you're willing to do that, then let's go. Right? And so you don't tell me I'm front desk. I don't do stuff like that. You don't tell me that. We're doing what it takes for us to be profitable in this season, the end, right? And so they were like, oh yeah, let's do it. And it was so amazing. I had a front desk person who was repurposed, and we created like a call center. She'll just sit down, make calls from morning till the end of her shift, like, hey, you're overdue for an appointment, come in. So our schedule was full the entire pandemic. But that was her full-time job. She was repurposed. And so it's the same thing with any entrepreneur. What is the link between what your team does and the bottom line? Right? Because you don't want your payroll to be an expense. You want your payroll to be an investment, right? And so that way you can keep all your staff, keep all their positions. You don't have to lay anybody off because there's a direct relationship between what they do and the bottom line, right? So if it's something you hadn't done before, then this is the time. If you never used to meet with your team, cast visions, if you didn't do any of that, now is the time, right? And then as far as full offense, I put this as the last one under that, which is review your expenses, because I really am about making your top line bigger, right? Expenses, if you're already managing, there's so much you can do. But a lot of times they're like 5 subscriptions that you don't really use anymore that are there, or a contractor that you have that's not really doing it, like those kind of things. So you just want to take a look, because it's just an opportunity to go review everything and make sure you're playing an your game is optimized, so it's the mindset, is playing full offense. And then finally, no matter how much mindset work you do, no matter how much full offense you play, there are going to be discouraging times. There are going to be challenging times. There are going to be problems that are going to show up. And so if you have a community of people like you who are in the game, who are working their mindset, who are playing offense and all of that, even on your down days, you can watch them and they're your encouragement. They're your driver. They're giving you positive peer pressure, right? Like, you don't want to run this alone. You have your own community of your own people. And so someday you're strong, they're weak. Someday you're weak, they're strong. And together you're always strong. See, in community, you can always be strong. When you're by yourself, and so it's not going into this season, you want to plan to have that community, because those down days are going to come. It's like you get in a car, you wear your seatbelt. It doesn't mean you're getting an accident, but if you did, you're good, right? And so you want to create that. Of course, that communities like that exist, but you want to have that support system. And in the same way, if there are places you go to, this could be Facebook groups, it could be, old friends, whatever it is, there are places you go to and you walk away discouraged. You walk away thinking, I can't do this entrepreneurship thing. You walk away with money scarcity. You walk away with all of those. This is time to cut those things off. The question is, are you going to hang on to it because it's an emotional thing? Or are you going to survive and thrive in the midst of a recession, right? Like if you want to thrive, then you have to control your environment, and your environment is the people in it. Now, of course, if you're married, I'm not saying go get a divorce. And if the person is your mother, I'm not saying go like, hey, mom, I'm done with you. But you will have to decrease the amount of proximity, right? And so that means maybe you don't have business conversations with those people. You talk about the weather, you talk about the kids, you talk about all those things, but you don't have those conversations. But if it's someone else that you can like, just cut them off, man, and then just build the community that will help you thrive, right? And so we can thrive, we will thrive. Don't believe the lies. Look at the pandemic. Look at the people who did, like, the pandemic was the best thing that happened to their businesses. We can be those people too. And if you're a physician thinking, yeah, but I'm not really an entrepreneur, so because sometimes we walk around with that thought, just remember that you have everything it takes to be a great entrepreneur. Now, you're going to need to learn some stuff, but the bottom line is you understand delayed gratification. You have an incredible work ethic. You have an unbelievable ability to learn. You have one of the best networks, whether you're looking at, kind of person, character of person, network of person, net worth of person. I mean, like, it's just unbelievably insane. And you have tenacity. I mean, you went after being a doctor for at least 10 years. You know what I mean? And so you have what it takes. Don't believe the lies. And this is your time, both as a physician and in the midst of a recession. This is your time. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Man. All right. So if you're listening on the podcast, you probably missed the fact that I probably will hopefully not have arthritis in my neck and my arms and my shoulders from like nutting my head like vigorously, raising my hand like in the air and like snapping my fingers like, yes, yes, yes. Y'all see why I brought her? See why I like her? See why I think she's awesome? Right? Because the thing is this, and this is what so this is really important because I think as physicians, sometimes we've believed a lot of lies and we've forgotten our place. We are not physicians. I mean, we're all leaders, but we went to medical school to learn tools that as we have now become, we've embodied it. We're physicians and we're now bridges of health and wellness to our patients. So we are bridges, regardless of whether you believe it or not, we are bridges. As a money coach, I am a bridge to financial wellness to money without overworking. As a business coach, Dr. Una is a bridge to learning the skill set, the mindset to how to be an entrepreneur. So I don't care if you have a business or not, you are a bridge. And so when the world is going like crap or whatever, people look to you. And if we are not looking to places of higher positive energy to like, sort of like build our own, we are going to not be the kind of bridge that we want. Right. And, my husband laughs at me about this. It's something that is found puzzling about, well, one of the many things it's found puzzling about. I'm like, dude, you signed up for this. You get what you paid for and more. But I love the rain. It makes zero sense to people, but like when it's raining, everybody and their mama's hiding. They're like, it's wet. It's let's go in. I'm like, no, this is when the streets are peaceful. This is when I can pray, I can talk, I can sing, I can dance. I go with my rain boots. I do like I have my raincoat on. I have my, not too much rain because I want to feel the water a little bit. Like some rain boots on. I am prepped for the rain and I go out there and I have so much fun. Like he does not understand it. And then God helped him and we have 3 kids and now I'm like teaching my kids to love the rain. And the way that I see it, like this is literally the rain. Like when it's raining, there aren't too many people outside. People are all hiding. We get to have fun. So right now, right, we've had the pandemic and now with the downturn, it is literally like that. Like the rain again. And you could go, well, I don't normally like the rain. You could learn how to. Y'all, I'm literally doing an interview right now. 3 years ago, I would have laughed at you and said, you're joking. I would not do that. I'm a physician. I'm not a business person. 7 years ago, I'd have said, I'm a physician. I don't do money. So when we tell ourselves the things that we are or are not, just FYI, if I'm any proof, I'm laughing at you because just wait and see. Like, so it is so important to understand that you can learn to dance in the rain. I had to teach my husband. Sometimes he does it like grumpily, but he does it anyway. And if he can go out in the rain, even though he acts like his salt, will melt the rain, he does it. So we can do a lot of stuff. And there's that whole saying of whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right. And what we want here is for you to remember the bridge you are, and the fact that we need to equip you. You need to be equipped. And part of that is going to be learning the things you've been doing before, learning how to change, how to adjust your team. We don't want any debt weight, whether that is in terms of your expenses, personal or business expenses. Those are all debt weights if they're not adding to the value of your life or your business. And it's got to be repurposed, for lack of a better term. So everything you've said, I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Please. What else do you want to add on? We have like, I don't know, 30 more seconds or so.
Well, I throw this out because it's something that I do, and it's a mistake I see people make. You may want to cut expenses, and that does make sense to do that. But don't cut anything that grows your company, right? That's not one of the things you cut. And one of the ones people don't notice, but it's a thing, is they cut coaching. And I want you to think about it, right? You could be in an environment where I'm talking to you every day about, okay, this is what we're doing, this is the direction we're going, come on, we're playing all offense and all of that stuff. Then you cut that off. Why would you do that? That's when you need it even more. And so don't cut anything that grows your company, because that's the way you kill your company. And coaching is one of the things that grows your company.
Thanks for saying that, because I mean, when we talk about expenses, and for those that have been around my platform at all, you know that there's a difference between assets and liabilities, right? So if I spend $5,000 and I'm spending that 5,000 to something that grows me, grows my brain, and brings me more wellness, more money, improves my, getting to what I want to get to, as opposed to spending on things that may not be adding value to my life. And it's interesting, the more I spend time in the money world, the more that I've learned. And you and I love to study people, right? We just don't go to like, we go to enjoy things, but we also get to learn, because a lot of times people talk about success living clues. You have to really pay attention to the core. It's like in the nucleus is where that's where the clue is. It's not like just in the flapping of the arms. But what I've learned is the people that are wealthy and ultra wealthy and very successful, there are two things they don't mind on. Well, there's more than two, but two that I want to highlight. One is their mindset, because they know that their mind is everything. Success is 80% psychology. So, number one is to spend on things that build their mindset and help them stay psychologically strong. I'm not going to say positive, but strong. And number two is community. They pay to be in rooms. They pay, proximity is power, right? They pay to be, it's not just about like what is being taught or like, so what's the curriculum? No, there are people that I literally pay 5 figures on because I just love being in their aroma, because the aroma brings out the best in me. And so don't mint on the important things, which is we want you to buy assets, your mindset, your community are assets, right? Those are going to be the difference between those that succeed in this season versus those that do not succeed. I did a webinar that I'm actually going to include the link. Maybe some of you guys have watched it or not, but it's a financial downturn prep plan. And that is one of the things that I emphasize there. Your community is going to be the differentiating factor, and maybe the primary thing that differentiates those that come out of this great in 3 years and high-fiving each other, clicking bottles and champagne or whatever it is they drink, versus those that are like, yeah, you know how it's been, no, we're not about that life. So anything else you want, because this has been so good, but anything else you want to tell us before we both run away in like 5 seconds?
I think that's really it. Like, don't hide. Just do all these things. Don't hide. This is our time. If you need to go write that, put it on your mirror. This is my time. Um, this is our time.
This
And
is
the,
our
the
time.
the truth of the matter is, for physicians, this is really dark and bleak, it seems, But out of this is coming something that's really beautiful. Those of us who've been working in the space, we can see it. It's so beautiful. I kid you not, like in 2.5, 3 years time, when you look back, you will not recognize what is happening now because you'll be so different then. And so we're telling you, like forecasters, and so just come on the ride, right? Come on the ride, and you're going to look back and say, wow, I can't believe physicians used to put up with this.
Yep. Yep. Dr. Una, thank you. Always a pleasure. For those that want to find you, how can they find you? We're going to include links, but tell us for those that are listening and have amazing brains to remember.
Well, I mean, you're on the podcast platform, and so just search EntreMD. We have 2 episodes that come out every week, and so that way you can stay in the right frame of mind through the recession and all of that. And if you are like, yeah, I really want to work with somebody, for business and all of that, then just reach out to us. Very simple to do. hello@entremd.com, and we'll be happy to take care of you.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. And again, guys, if you're listening to this, if you haven't shared it, share it. Share, share, share. This is not for you alone. This is for every woman physician. So share this. Number one. Number two, leave us a rating or a review on any platform that you're listening to right now, because that is how more humans, more women physicians can get this information. The world is bleak. Sometimes the world can be depressing. We need hope. And if this is giving you hope, imagine what it's going to do to other women physicians. So thank you guys again for trusting us with your time. I truly, truly value watching, listening, and sharing. Your time matters. So does your life. And that's what we're talking about here. So thanks for listening. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.